Hi everybody, welcome back to Slam Shenanigans. You can see this is the first clear day we've had in like several weeks. Very cold, clear day, as you can see from the ice on the ground. Started out as to be a regular, just kind of catch-up day and fixing some stuff with the tractor. Turned into a specific John Deere video, but what you're seeing here is me trying to clear snow out from in front of my shop and get a path to where that as I'm walking on this stuff, it doesn't just get packed down in ice and then I can't even shovel it. So that's what I'm doing here, just kind of making sure I've got one clear path here and let the sun do its work so it doesn't all turn to ice like you see coming out of my culvert here. Anyways, this is me starting to pull everything apart for a water and a fuel problem that I was trying to diagnose. And I think I'm going to talk here in a minute and explain things. Well, I totally confirmed that I have water in my fuel. And that is my problem. You can see all that frozen. That's water. Wow. Alrighty, yeah, that was a lot of water that was frozen in my fuel separator, which is the cartridge filter, and I'll kind of explain that a little bit later in the video. But there's gonna be a lot of just kind of time lapse here, and you'll see me walking back and forth, grabbing the Rhino, getting tools, getting different things, getting the new filters, as you saw there. I was starting out thinking I was going to just change out the filters like I usually do when this happens. And as I go through it, I kind of decide that the water problem was so severe this time that I suspected I had a whole lot more water in my tank. I've actually had twice now, I've completely vacuumed out my tank. And I'll say later on in the video that I had originally had a fuel supplier of red diesel that was kind of known for having dirty fuel, and I was thinking water was coming from there, but you'll see later on in the video where I really kind of get down into diagnosing what's going on. And so, like I said, a lot of time lapse. I may look really chunky, but most of it's the overalls that my wife got me for Christmas that are very comfortable and very warm, keep me dry, but they're about 3 inches. So yeah, I'm a little out of shape, but hey, you know, I'm not that fat. But anyways, this is me going through the motions here, and what I did now, you saw me pulling the generator there, and I've got a heat gun because I am thinking all my lines have water in them, and all of them are frozen. There's no way I'm going to be able to pump through frozen lines. So did that. Actually, right now, see that propane tank? I actually brought out my buddy heater and tried to warm all this stuff up, just trying to thaw out that thing because it was definitely a problem. And I mean, the freeze was such a point that I actually had my excavator tracks frozen to the ground this morning. So at this point, I had to take a run to the hardware store for some stuff that I'm about to explain, but this picture was basically just to take with me to the hardware store to make sure I got the right size hose. All right, so I'm gonna explain the issue here. There's a spin-on fuel filter and a cartridge fuel filter on this John Deere 3033R, and this is also a water separator. Well, it's not floating, but that you can see that mixture is really nasty. That's the last stuff I let it pump in and drain in. Here's the tank, here's the line, this thing here, so it comes down in, and that's the feed to there, and then this lift pump gets it up to the injector pump, and away you go. Well, I have water in the tank, and I think I'm gonna make this into a John Deere video. It's just gonna be a random video, but it's actually all drained out or gone out now, but there's a ton of water that gets in here every time it rains, and I think somehow it's getting into my tank right there, because I've switched from red diesel, which was from the company I was getting it from. It was kind of had a reputation of dirty, and I was afraid the water was getting there. This has been green diesel for a year, and pretty much happens every time it rains really bad and water gets in that area, and then I'm under load going up a hill. So when I took that out this morning, you saw earlier in the time lapse and maybe some other pictures, that thing was frozen solid. It was all water. I'm sure there was a buttload of water in that one too. I think I'm going to try and, after I do this next trick that I'm going to try and hopefully will help, I'm going to try and fire it up on these filters because these are brand new. So they had water in them, but we're going to see if we can push through it. But anyways, if you look at this supply line, there's a dip. I'm gonna cut that thing right there. I'm gonna put a T in it. I'm gonna put a drain. And I'm gonna hopefully drain any water that's in the bottom of my tank, because all fuel will float above that. And I'm gonna see how this works. And maybe we'll get this fired up. So here I'm assembling all the T and the fittings and the valves so I can stop it fairly quickly if there is some fuel in it when it comes out. Shoot, I didn't film it, but when I opened that up, I cut that line, it was dribbling. So I tried to blow air in it from up top, up there. Let's just get rid of that. Tried to blow air from the top, it didn't work. Gave it a little blast air from the bottom and she opened up. So I think I'm just gonna let that whole thing drain out, because it looks really bad, like mostly water. I have no idea why. Feels like water. It's almost like somebody's sabotaging this damn thing. Well, I don't know. And no, I didn't dump fuel on the ground. It's all going in the bucket. Everything else is water. So that last clip was actually showing a little bit of diesel coming out. It was still kind of milky, but it was diesel. You could tell it was fuel here. So, so after I did all that and I got good fuel to that, I let the water separator bowl fill up with this relatively, air quote, clean diesel again. And I flushed the filter again. I actually pulled the spin-off filter, flushed that, and then kind of went on from there. And as you'll see in this next clip, it was successful. I got all the water out of it. I think I got all the water out of the tank, and we'll finish up the video. So you can hear it, success. I use the old filters. These are the new ones here. Once I figured out it was just water. So, yep, we got her running again. Got everything bled. I cut out a whole lot of videos. Video, time-lapse, etc. of me just walking around, making sure injectors are tight, putting all the air cleaner back in, and reassembling everything. But, yeah, that was a chore. That was a lot of water in my tank. I really think it's coming in from that little catch basin, if you will, around the filler tube on the top of the tractor. But looking at that, I didn't want to drill into the side of that to provide a drain hole, because I'm not sure it's all integral to the tank or not. So that's something I got to look into more, and you really have to take apart all the plastic around the instrument cluster to figure that out. So, like I said, hopefully if this helps somebody else diagnose what's going on with their 303TR, if they're dealing with rain issues and then getting water in their fuel, the drain I think is going to work really well until I get to dive into that instrument cluster area better. That's I think the full-time fix. But anyways, really appreciate you guys watching. If you've watched this long, this is kind of what my upper field looked like at the end of the day. It was a very long day for me, short video, but very, very long day going through all this process to try and figure out how to get that water out. And I mean, it literally took over an hour of trying to heat that thing up to make sure all the water was out of the lines, because they were all frozen too. But I think I said it in the last couple of videos, I'm really trying to get a subscriber push here. So if you guys like this video was helpful to you in any ways, please hit that subscribe button, share them with your friends, hit the like button, make a comment down there. And if anybody's gone through this with their John Deere, whether it's a 303TR or something similar, put that in the comments. I'd really like to hear from you.